Hello, welcome. We are live, and I am Amy Jo Honey. My husband Jamie Honey will be with us very shortly. My giant water, and I'm so happy you guys could be here to join us today. And welcome, Jamie Honey.
Hello, hello, hello.
I was just telling everybody how amazing you are.
Oh, quick. Perfect time for a recap. Excellent. Everybody drop in the chat the top 5 things that you agree with.
Awesome. So today we're talking about building credibility and building authority. And Jamie, what is the number one thing that we need to build to be able to build that credibility and authority? What's the number one thing we need within ourselves?
Confidence.
Yes, confidence.
Confidence. Be confident in faking your confidence.
Exactly. It was really funny because Jamie and I recently were at a training. We were live training on Jace's Black Belt Unlimiteds. And I asked those Black Belt Unlimiteds, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you think I am? And some of them said, oh man, you're off the charts. You're like 15.
Yeah, you're over 10.
You're way over 10. But I'm just a really good actress, guys. I could just fake it really well.
Yeah, what I'd love for everyone to understand in this is that every single person on the planet, no matter how great they are, still gets nervous, still has doubt. Having doubt or being nervous doesn't make you unconfident. You're confident regardless of those emotional states. Uh, and one of the things to do is change how you think. Like we talk a lot about what happens with the brain and how the brain affects what's going on for you in your experience of life. And that's because that is a reflection of you. And it's the common denominator in every experience you're having. In every experience you had from the beginning of time to now, you have been there. So you are carrying you. And that's why it's one of the three areas that Jace is so great at helping you understand and polish off and uplift. And that is the you part. Remember, Jace's awesome process for having a top selling, super successful talk or how to sell from stage. There's compelling content, dynamic delivery, and you. So confidence comes no matter how nervous or how unconfident you may feel. It's a reflection on the thought you have. And something that Amy and I have said for years. Oh my God, we have said this for nearly like 15, 20 years. Definitely when we owned our gym and we owned the Elite Fitness Zone, easily 15 years. We've said excitement and fear are the same thing physiologically. The difference is the thought you carry with it. So you have an increase in heart rate, a little bit of perspiration, shallower breathing. Okay, now
Sweaty palms.
Sweaty palms. You add to that the thought of, oh, what could go wrong? You have fear. You add to that whole accept experience. Instead of adding that thought, go, oh, what could go right? Now you have excitement. So the thought you have all this physical, oh, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it. So many people have said, oh, but you don't understand, I really feel it. Dynamic delivery. Yeah, and I can even hear it. Was that a voice? I heard it.
I was trying to reply to Alan DeBay. Hi, Alan. Welcome.
Hello, Alan. Yeah. So remember, anytime you're feeling nervous, anytime you're feeling scared, stop for a moment. Take 3 long, slow, deep breaths. So breathe. The breathing cycle that I do is the oblong, where 6 breaths in, hold for 3, 6 breaths out. No, 6 counts out, sorry. And the in breath is on a 6 count, hold for 3, exhale for 6, hold for 3, and just do 3 slow
A
breaths.
really easy one too is just a box. Do 4, 4, 4, and 4. 4 inhale, 4 hold, 4 exhale, 4 hold. Yeah.
Then we look at this 3 questions. What happened? What do I want? What can I do? So what happened was I got nervous because of whatever reason. What do I want? Hey, I want to do an awesome talk. What do I do? Okay, remember the steps that I've trained. Trust in myself. Very first thing I do as I step on stage or open up the Zoom is connect. I look at the people that are in my audience. I reach out to them. I'm so excited. I've turned my fear into excitement. Excited. I'm excited to share with these people what it is I have to offer. They're here because they want something. And if I have the right thing for them, there's going to be a beautiful union at the end of this talk. That's it.
Right. And so a lot of times for confidence, if you want to gain more confidence, one of the best things you can do is look outward. So for instance, when I get on stage, I'm always nervous right before I get on stage. I'm super nervous. But as soon as I focus on the audience and giving them the best message and like doing the best like talk I can give them, that all that nervousness goes away. And the funny thing is physiologically, like literally in our physiology, literally in our body, there is no difference between fear and excitement. We were listening to a neuroscientist the other day who confirmed it for us. And we knew that, but because it's like 2 people are jumping out of a plane. One guy's super nervous about it. The other guy can't wait. What's the difference? The only difference is the guy that can't wait, he's looking forward to the fun, the excitement, what he can do. The guy that's scared, he's looking at what can go wrong, what can go bad, right? Exactly. Connection is so valuable in this day and age. And that's human skills, that connection, it can't be replaced. AI can't replace it. So develop it and get better at it, right? Because AI can't replace that. You're muted, Jamie. If you're talking, you're muted. Amen.
That's the AI. It cut me down. I was doing bad AI jokes and it stopped me. They're always listening. Alexa and Siri are cousins and they share family secrets. Yeah. So the thing is, everybody has something of value to share. Yet when we focus on ourselves and like, do I look right? Do I sound right? Have I got my presentation right? All that energy is going inward, inward, inward. That is like a dwarf star collapsing on itself. And you create a black hole. No light is coming out of you. No light is coming out from what you present. Focus outward. Let your son shine or your daughter shine. Just kidding. Let the light extend out. Send that warmth out. I like to jump on whenever I get the opportunity to go, how can I make people smile? For all my 30 years of training, the thing that I tell myself before I have an interaction is, how can I make people smile? Because I know if they smile, they're connected. If they're connected, they're open. If they're open, they can hear. If they can hear, there's a possibility of something wonderful to come out of it. So
absolutely. Hi, Joanna. Welcome. Hi, Janet. Janet says, I'd like the thrill, but I'm not sure I could jump.
Jumping out of a plane is good. I've actually jumped off high-rise buildings in Batman suits. When I worked for Warner Brothers Movie World Australia, we did the live-action Batman show, and that's the scariest, more so than an airplane. Abseiling when you're at night with a black rope, a black rubber suit that has very minimal movement. You're like, and you're like, I can't see anything. I have to just trust my training. So much Janet, the same way as when you go on the stage, trust your training. Subconscious mind has learned everything. Everyone that was at dynamic delivery, you learned an immense amount. When you now go on stage, trust that you learned something and allow yourself to use it, as opposed to judging yourself about doing it correctly or incorrectly.
Exactly. So Janet, so the very first I went, and so I would recommend going tandem. That means that when you go jump out of a plane, you're attached to a professional that knows how to do it. So he jumps. then you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about the jump. That's when your partner sneezes and you're pushed. Boom.
Thank you.
So I gotta tell you, so I was living in Portland and I got asked, but yes, to tandem, you do the tandem. So I was living in Portland, I got asked to go skydiving and I said, yeah, I'll do it. I'm very adventurous. So I go out to this thing and I did what was called the ground crew. And so you learn ground training. You have to go for a full day of ground training before they take you up in the plane to jump, especially if he's a hunk. Now we're talking, Janet. Strap me in.
I'm still on the chat, FYI.
I love you, honey. Anyway.
As long as my hunk is bigger, not a problem. It's all competition in this relationship.
Anyway, and so I go and do this ground training, and I'm the only female. And I'm looking at this plane and it's super rickety, like really old rickety plane. Like, oh, like I'm just like, and there's no door on it. Like it's just open. Like it's in one of those like old, like little, like hangars. Like it's like a small one. Right. And I'm just thinking, and what they told me was they said, so we're going to go jump at 4,000 feet. However, if the plane goes down, only the first two can jump. First one for sure can jump. Second one, maybe, but the rest, you're going to be too low of an altitude to jump out of the plane. Now you just got to go down with that plane. You can't jump. So they go, who wants to go first? And my arm shot up. I'm like, I'll go first. So I was the only girl. And I went first on this plane. I'm like, I'm getting out of this rickety thing. I trust the parachute more. So Janet, I had to climb out on this wing by myself. So you don't just jump from the plane. You climb out there's like a hanger like this, and then there's like a little bar underneath it that you can latch your hand onto. So you're underneath the wing. So you climb out and you're hanging from the wing, and you look back at your jump master who's still in the plane. And when he knows it's safe, he tells you to go, and you throw your arms back as hard as you can and you go. So you're like flying, you're like hanging onto the plane. You're like just flying there. It was pretty wild. So when I looked up, I can't say it on this live. Janet says health to the no. But there was a sticker that said, I'll just say it said, "Hit happens." A little sticker.
With a silent S.
Yeah, when I looked up, it said that. And I was like, that was the last thing I saw before I threw myself to the ground.
Jumping out of planes is fun. I have more thrill jumping off cliffs into water. That's I think because I can do it multiple times, climb back up, jump off again, climb back up. Some of the fun times was jumping off some cliffs into the ocean, where when you jump off the cliff, there's no water below you, because by the time you land, the water's come in and it's starting to go back out. So you're like,
oh, no, thank you. Yeah. Nah, I'm good on that. But anyway, that's the difference, though, between excitement and fear and excitement, fear and like I was excited to do it. Right. And then what's interesting about that physiology is I'm excited all the time. So like we go back to confidence. When I trained our team, they said I was on the scale of 15. I say I'm just really a good actress. The reality is I'm nervous most of the time. And the reason I know that I'm nervous most of the time is because I trained myself a long time ago to change that into excitement. So most of the time I'm excited. And Jamie will go, how you doing today? I'm like, great. I'm excited. It's like, what about? I'm like, I don't know. Just the day. Yeah. How confident are you 1 to 10 in talking in front of crowds?
And then how confident are you 1 to 10 to sell to that crowd? Because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I could talk all day. And will you ask them for a credit card? Oh, I don't feel good about that. So when you don't ask for money, money is a reflection of energy. There's elements within yourself of self-worth that are worth doing some personal development to look at. Because quite often, from all of my clients that I've worked with, the asking for money is a reflection, the level of nervousness or lack of confidence in asking for something for themselves is a reflection on their own value of their self-worth. Typically, by the age of 5, 6, 7, or 8, we've learned a lot of limiting belief behavior. And we learned that to survive as a child based on one experience or multiple experiences. And you survived as a 10-year-old, yet now as maybe a 30 or 40-year-old in front of a crowd of people. It doesn't serve you for your outcome. So that's another thing to have a look at. Yet for myself, talking in front of a crowd of people, like I still get super nervous. Yet I remind myself, I could have fun. I could make someone smile. Let's see what happens. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what's the consequence? Doesn't really matter. There'll be another opportunity, another moment, another circumstance where I'll get to do it again. Yet as soon as I get in front, and then I remind myself, how many times has it gone right? And so many times in my history have I been thrown out in front of a group of people and said, the speaker's not here. We need you to fill for an hour. Okay.
It happens to us all the time. We work with speakers a lot, so it happens a lot. Janet says, I have more experience talking in front of groups, learning to shift that into selling from the mic. Janet's one of our black belts. Feel free to ask her what black belt's about if you happen to run into her in the chat there in the Facebook group. She's one of our black belts, and she was just at Dynamic Delivery. That was really incredible. Yeah. She did a great job. She did a ton of shifts. You did a bunch of shifts during that event. It was really fun to watch.
It was great.
Yeah.
That's one of the power of going to a group event as well. In the group event, you have social consciousness working for you, at supporting you. It's kind of like the ocean. Social consciousness is like the ocean. Now, typically in the general environment, you was like, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change the way I do things. And your social environment is like, why? We're all happy the way it is. And they will try and like hold you down. It'll be a wave or a current pulling you back, and you're swimming upstream against the current, against the undertow to try and get out of the social consciousness. That is the general environment in which you live in. Most people, when they come home from an event and they're pumped and excited, they step back into their past when nobody understands the shifts they've made. Yet at a group event, where you have a live event and live people and everyone there, you have the social consciousness is working for you. They're all cheering for your success. They're all supporting you emotionally and energetically because they see themselves in you. So they want you to win because they know that means they can win. So going to a group event, a personal development event, Jace has like several of them through the year for the black belts to take advantage of. There's the Dynamic Life one. Woo, that's a real, let's jump forward into bigger things to our life experience. So going to personal development event, you're using the social consciousness, the emotional energy of the group to support you to have elevation and quicker gains and quicker changes in your life and understanding. And it can reinforce you. So when you do go back to your past experience of life, it's not as draining or drudging or pulling. You're not alone. It's not, it's a lot easier to row a boat with more people in it than do it on your own.
Absolutely. And building that trust and credibility is so valuable, and it has to be done in such a way where it's like, because it's super awkward to just walk up to people and go, hey, by the way, we help our clients sell $7 million every single year. It's like, that would be weird if I walked up to you and said that, right? So how do I portray that to you, or communicate that to you, or communicate my credibility without just coming out awkwardly and saying that? So learning to do that, we can learn to do that through story and through our messaging and through showing up to Dynamic Delivery, showing up to core scripting is a fantastic place to learn that.
Yeah. So the big thing we want you to understand that confidence is one of the key elements that builds trust and builds credibility. And here's a little trick. If you're feeling unconfident, slow down. Take a pause. Take a breath. Because when you can speak slowly and clearly, one, it changes your state, and two, it changes your audience's state. They're like, oh, there's a shift. They'll lean in. They'll pay a little more attention. And what you're doing is just catching your breath. So a lot of the time we're nervous because we've stopped breathing or we're breathing shallow.
And people are going to trust somebody that is calm and confident more than they're going to trust somebody that's shaky and jittery and nervous.
Absolutely. And at Dynamic Delivery, you saw Stephen Memel demonstrate that with a number of the people that he was coaching on stage.
We watched the shift happen like that. It was really cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well,
I has a question for you, Amy. She said, you taught yourself how to turn nervousness to excitement. Is there a self-talk mantra, etc.? I'm really working on this. I have an answer, yet I'd love for you to give yours first.
I would love for I honestly don't have a way that I did it. I just think I did it for survival, honestly. I think potentially I probably was born with ADHD and was probably born with all kinds of stuff. I was adopted and probably had all kinds of things. And back then they didn't know. And I think it was survival, really, honestly. What's your take?
Well, the biggest thing in changing a habit of belief or a habit of behavior is awareness. So catching yourself in the moment is the first step. Second step is saying, what's the opposite? Let's try that. In narrowing a couple of hours down into like a quick little sentence. First, have awareness, and then you may find you've done the training with Jace, where he does this brilliant training and a self-awareness on how you buy is how you sell, and what have you said to yourself in the past when you've had to make a big decision. That's narrowing Jace's 90-minute training down. Yet you get to this thing where you say something to yourself when you've had to make a big decision and it's worked out in the past. So for me, it's I'll be fine. Everything always works out. So in that situation, when I'm getting nervous, I feel myself emotionally, I will remember that this is not the path of thought I wish to choose. I remember that I have other options. And then I say to myself, I'll be fine. Everything always works out. Then I was like, what do I want? Remember these three things. What happened? Nervousness. And I self-corrected. I stopped myself in the emotion. Now that I've done that, what do I want? What can I do? What I want is to make people smile. What can I do? Get out there and start with a smile. Because if I start with a smile, other people will smile. So I hope that helps, Janet, in understanding. First is the awareness. The awareness is happening in the what happened area up here. Then what do I want? What can I do? Tell yourself whatever it is that you tell yourself when you make a big, tough, hard decision that has worked out in the past. I mean, like, I backed through Africa. I got held captive for a day. And yet here I am now. So it'll be fine. Everything always works out in the end. Next thing, next thing, next.
The other thing, Janet, is learn to pause, like taking that pause. That's the thing. As nervous people, we tend to talk a lot, thinking we have to fill in the space. So even that pause that I just did there, that's super uncomfortable for me. Like, it's a very uncomfortable to be speaking and then take that pause. However, when I do, I appear confident, even though I might not be. And it calms me down enough to really be thinking what I say. Like I tend to get, like, I know when I get triggered too. Like, for instance, I get really triggered when I get cut off, especially by a male. So when a male cuts me off when I'm trying to say something, like especially in business, when a male in business, like a business partner or something like that, cuts me off and I'm trying to get it, it makes it even harder for me to get out what I'm saying. Like I just like I'm like I'm literally like that, right? And even in those moments, I have to like really. Jamie's cracking up because he knows how I get. He knows I get like really like I can't speak. I get to where I can't speak.
I'm weighing up the odds of cutting you off for the joke purpose and what the rest of the day would look like.
Go ahead and cut me off for the joke.
Also, Janet, remember to tell yourself if you're feeling nervous that you're not nervous, you're excited. So what are you excited about? I'm not nervous, I'm excited. What am I excited about? Change it
that's
from
a good one. Changing that. Yeah. Just reframing it.
Yeah, I'm excited. What am I excited about? I'm excited that people showed up for this talk. I'm excited that there's more people than I expected. Or I'm excited everyone got a car park because there's less people here. So there wasn't any struggle over finding a parking spot. That's good for them. They must be happy. I'm excited I'm going to have an intimate chat as opposed to a loud room talk. I'm going to have an intimate chat with these few people. Or I'm excited that there's more people than I expected, so I get to make more friends. Whatever it is you're nervous about, you're actually excited about as well, except you're looking at, I don't have a coin. I've got it in my pocket. I was using it for training earlier. Where's my coin? Wait, I'm getting a coin. I know what a coin looks like. Oh, yeah. Here it is. This side is nervous. This side is excitement. Nervous, excited. It's the same thing. You're just looking at it at the other side. One's head, one's tail. So whenever you're nervous, you're actually excited as well, except you've trained yourself to be nervous because you've trained yourself for survival by looking at the environment and go, what could possibly go wrong? That's how you got here. Every one of your genetic ancestors did that, and they survived to pass on that gene to say, hey, be ultra careful and cautious. So you have to overcome the natural midbrain, and that's fine. You've got the frontal lobe here full of opinions to help you out and to make a thought. Make a thought. So run with that.
Yeah, awesome. And Janet says, I agree, Deanna, that reframe is what I'm using. Awesome, guys. Yeah, so just slowing it down. And also, I always like to look at, and this is from one of my trainers, I always like to look at animals and think about how animals are. Like, look at like an ant, like a Chihuahua is a nervous animal, right? Yeah, and a big dog, and a big dog, they're like calmer, right? And they move slower, right? Awesome. Good to see you, Joanna. We'll see you soon. And they move slower. So that's kind of how it works. So just think about that. Think about emulating the animal that you want to show. Think about a cheetah. They move with like confidence. Right? So think about that. Awesome, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I put it
for those who just tuned in. This is Animal Planet today. You suggest an animal, and Amy or I will imitate it.
No, but I did put in the chat to join us live in November. If you guys are wanting to hone in on your skills and get really fabulous and be fantastic on stage, if you're already blowing it out on the stage, then that's awesome. Good for you. But if you want to learn more and you want to get better, even better, come join us in November. There's a 3-day event. It is free to join us. You just grab your ticket. In fact, maybe let me see if I can pull it up real fast.
Oh, we're grateful that you dropped by, Janet. Always fun to see and hear from you again.
Always fun. Yeah, so all you got to do is just grab, I put the link in the chat. Just go ahead and jump on over there. Just click this button here, green button, grab your ticket. fill in your information. If you want to put who referred you, you can put me. If it makes you put somebody, doesn't matter. Click register for the event and you're in. Now, you do not have to upgrade, but if you want to, you can upgrade for SFS. Just copy that code right there, SFS97. Put that in there. Little red arrow says click that. So make sure you click that because then that's what applies it. So now it took a $200 discount. Click continue, put your credit card information in, and you are ready to rock and roll. So that's it. Easy to go. So,
yep.
Cool.
So that
Awesome.
discount is still available right now. Otherwise, you can just take the free ticket.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Ciao.